I think like once we get there, it'll feel a little more real. And obviously, like, we're not just happy to be there. Like, we really feel like we can believe and we can compete with every single team that's going to be in the playoff. And that would have been another huge accomplishment for our group if we were able to beat them once. I think it has been since 2010, since we've beat every single team in our league. So it's just another thing to work for next year. But I think, you know, you go into the Washington game, we still expect to win that too. And we know that Washington's going to be fighting for that last playoff spot too. So
imagine this. You're NaLyssa Smith. You were the star, then Caitlin Clark shows up, and suddenly you're not getting the ball as much. How would you feel? Let's break down what's really going on with the Fever's unexpected drama. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Picture this, Smith's on the bench, watching Clark sink another three-pointer. It's a far cry from last year when Smith was the rookie sensation. Remember those stats? 13.5 points and 7.9 rebounds per game. That's impressive. But now, she's down to 10 points and 7 rebounds. What happened? Let's talk about that game against the Dallas Wings. Smith scored just 8 points in 19 minutes. That's rough. It's like watching a star fade right before our eyes. But here's where things get really interesting. Smith's reaction to this game, it's not what you'd expect from a team player. You won't believe what she did next. After that disappointing game, Smith made a move that left fans and analysts scratching their heads.
I think I was just excited to play. Anytime you get the opportunity to get out there and go play, and knowing this, you know, this was our last regular season one at home. You know, it's fun. It's on the weekend. It's an afternoon game. Like, those are just better. Get over the hump of, like, really getting hot. Like, I know I was 6 for 14, and that's pretty good, but, like, I still feel like there was a couple there that it's just like, oh, how's that not go in? So I thought we were really good last time we played in Dallas. But we've honestly struggled to guard this team, and I think it just speaks to their offensive firepower that they have, like Enrique and Sabali's really good, and then we obviously struggled to guard their post player.
Is this the beginning of the end for her time with the Fever, or a strategic play for more court time? You know how sometimes a single tweet can start a wildfire? Well, that's exactly what happened with NaLyssa Smith. Picture this, Smith sitting at home, scrolling through Twitter, probably still stewing over that tough game against the Wings. Then she sees it, a post from DJ Kareni suggesting she's not getting enough touches. And what does Smith do? She hits that retweet button. But here's where it gets crazy. The post included the words, "It was fun while it lasted." Boom! Just like that, the WNBA world exploded. Fans started reading between the lines, wondering if Smith was sending a message about her frustration with the team. And let me tell you, the fans went wild. It was like watching a tennis match, but instead of a ball, it was opinions flying back and forth. Some fans were all, "Smith needs to go. She's not a team player." Others were defending her, saying, "Give her more touches. She's being wasted on the bench." It was intense, folks. But wait, there's more. While all this drama was unfolding, Smith dropped another bombshell. Ajay Wilson from the Las Vegas Aces posted a video celebrating a milestone. And guess what Smith did? She responded with a face holding back tears emoji. I mean, come on. That's like leaving a trail of breadcrumbs leading straight to Las Vegas. Now let's break this down for a second. Smith goes from being the rookie sensation to playing second fiddle to Caitlin Clark. Her stats take a nosedive, and then she starts dropping these cryptic messages on social media. It's like watching a soap opera, but with more three-pointers. You've got to wonder what's going through Smith's mind. Is she really thinking about jumping ship to the Aces? Or is this just a cry for attention, hoping the Fever will give her more playing time? It's like a game of 4D chess, and we're all just trying to figure out the next move. But here's the thing. This isn't just about Smith. It's about the whole Fever team. How are they handling this drama? Are they rallying around Smith, or are they starting to see her as a liability? And what about Clark? She's out there breaking records while her teammate is stirring up drama on Twitter. Talk about a team divided. You know what's really wild about all this? It's how quickly things can change in professional sports. One minute, you're the rising star. The next, you're watching someone else steal the spotlight. It's got to be tough, especially when you're young and trying to make your mark in the league.
Well, I didn't think they were going to give me a technical at any point tonight. I would have been really sad for people in Washington, D.C. I didn't want to do that. I tried my best. And then Aaliyah is the one that ends up with a technical. That's the best part about it all. Like, she's the one babysitting me, and then somehow she ends up with a technical. And she didn't really do anything. She was just standing there, so that's what was funny to me. But now it's basically over. I don't have to worry about that anymore, but I don't want to be getting technicals at all. So And my mom doesn't want that for me either, and I don't want to pay any more fines, so I'm done with that.
But let's not forget, this is the WNBA we're talking about. These women are professionals, and they know how to handle pressure. The question is, can Smith turn this around? Can she use this controversy to light a fire under herself and come back stronger? Or is this the beginning of the end for Smith's time with the Fever? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, we'll be watching every game, every post-game interview, and yes, every tweet to see how this plays out. Just when you thought the Fever couldn't get any hotter, Caitlin Clark turns up the heat. She's breaking records left and right, but there's a catch. Could Clark's meteoric rise be the very thing pushing Smith towards the exit? Let's talk about Caitlin Clark for a minute. This rookie is on fire, and she's not showing any signs of cooling down. Remember that game against the Dallas Wings? Clark dropped a career-high 35 points. That's not just good, that's insane for a rookie. But here's the thing. While Clark is lighting up the scoreboard, some people are wondering if her success is causing problems behind the scene. Is she hogging the ball? Is she making her teammates look bad? Well, let's look at the fact. After that record-breaking game, Clark didn't go on social media to brag. Nope, she went straight to the press and talked about teamwork. She said things like, "My teammates set great screens, and we're really starting to click as a unit." That doesn't sound like someone who's trying to steal the spotlight, does it? And get this, in a recent game, Clark pulled off this crazy behind-the-back assist to Smith. It was like something out of a highlight reel. Clark could have taken the shot herself, but she dished it to Smith instead. That's the kind of play that wins games and builds team chemistry. But wait, there's more to this story. Remember how Smith was retweeting stuff about not getting enough touches? Well, she's not just sitting around sulking. In a surprising move, Smith actually thanked Clark publicly for bringing more fans to the games. Can you believe it? One minute she's dropping cryptic tweets, the next she's praising her teammate. So what's really going on here? Is Clark the problem, or is she the solution? On one hand, you've got this rookie sensation who's breaking records and bringing in the crowds. On the other hand, you've got a talented player like Smith who's seeing her stats drop. Here's something to think about. Maybe it's not about who's the star and who's the sidekick. Maybe it's about finding a way for both players to shine. Clark's got the hot hand right now, but basketball is a team sport. The Fever need both Clark and Smith if they want to make a real run at the playoffs. And speaking of the playoffs, that's where things get really interesting. The Fever haven't made it to the postseason since 2016. With Clark and Smith on the roster, they've got a real shot this year. But here's the million-dollar question. Can they put aside their personal goals for the good of the team? You know what's crazy about all this? It's like watching a real-life sports movie unfold. You've got the rising star, the established player feeling threatened, the team on the verge of greatness. All that's missing is the montage of them learning to work together set to an 80s power ballad. But jokes aside, this is serious business. The Fever are at a crossroads. They've got all the pieces to be a great team, but they need to figure out how to fit those pieces together. It's not just about Clark and Smith, it's about the whole team buying into a common goal. The Fever are on the brink of their first playoff appearance since 2016, but there's a catch. As the spotlight on Clark grows brighter, Smith's role seems to be fading into the shadows. Is this the recipe for a Cinderella story? Or a cautionary tale in the making? Let's talk about the Indiana Fever's playoff dreams. It's been 7 long years since they've tasted postseason action, and now they're so close they can almost smell it. But here's the thing. Making the playoffs is one thing. Winning in the playoffs? That's a whole different ball game. Think about it. The Fever have got all this talent, but they're dealing with some serious drama. You've got Clark breaking records left and right, and Smith feeling like she's been benched. How's that going to play out when the pressure's really on? Now, don't get me wrong. Smith's still getting her minutes. She's out there for about 25 minutes a game. That's not nothing. But her scoring? That's taken a hit. She's gone from dropping 15.5 points a game last season to just 10.4 this season. That's a big drop, folks. You know what's really wild about all this? The Fever need both Clark and Smith if they want to make some noise in the playoffs. It's not just about having one superstar. It's about having a team that works together like a well-oiled machine. But here's where it gets tricky. How do you balance individual goals with team success? Smith's probably feeling the pressure to prove herself, to show she's still got what it takes to be a star in this league. And Clark, she's riding high on her success, but she's got to make sure she's not leaving her teammates in the dust. Imagine you're the coach of the Fever right now. You've got this amazing rookie who's lighting up the scoreboard, but you've also got a talented player who's feeling left out. How do you make that work? How do you keep everyone happy and still win game? And let's not forget about the rest of the team. They're watching all this drama unfold. Are they picking sides? Are they just trying to stay out of it? Or are they finding a way to bring everyone together? You know what's crazy? This whole situation could go either way. It could be the thing that tears the team apart just when they need to be at their strongest. Or it could be the challenge that brings them together, that makes them realize they're stronger as a unit than as individuals. Think about some of the great teams in WNBA history. They didn't just have one star player, they had a group of players who knew how to work together, who understood their roles, and who put the team's success above their own stats. So here's the million-dollar question. Can the Fever find that balance? Can they figure out how to use both Clark and Smith in a way that makes the team better, not just one player look good? It's like a puzzle, and the Fever are running out of time to solve it. The playoffs are coming, and they don't wait for anyone to get their act together. They're going to have to figure this out fast, or they might find their playoff dreams turning into a nightmare. But you know what? That's what makes sports so exciting. It's not just about what happens on the court. It's about the drama, the personality, the ups and downs. It's about watching a team try to come together in the face of challenges. So what do you think? Can the Fever pull it together in time for the playoffs? Or is this internal drama going to be their downfall? All right, let's break this down. NaLyssa Smith's in a tough spot. She went from being the star to watching Caitlin Clark steal the show. Her stats are down, she's tweeting cryptic messages, and fans are split on what she should do next. But here's the thing. The Fever need both Smith and Clark if they want to make a real playoff run. It's not about who's the star, it's about finding a way for both players to shine. So what's next for Smith? Should she stick it out with the Fever and try to find her groove alongside Clark? Or is it time for her to pack her bags and look for a team where she can be the main attraction? What do you think? Is Smith better off staying or going? Hit that like button if you think she should stay, or drop a comment if you think it's time for her to move on. And don't forget to subscribe for more WNBA action.